Stalker, giant stalker, dragon stalker, crypt stalker, demon stalker, rift stalker, grown stalker, crypt stalker, scourge stalker, wind runner. I'm a pony, lead skill hunter. A death dealer, a life stealer. That's just the cost of being awesome.
Welcome to episode 263 of the Hunting Party podcast, recorded on Monday, September 11th, 2017. I'm Synth Paradox, the producer of the show, and we were joined this week by Darkbrew, Bendak, Foxy, and as always, Alexander. Unfortunately, we had some technical issues at the beginning of the show, and about the first 10 minutes were lost. We caught it fairly early, and hopefully you can still enjoy the rest of the show.
But I was just saying, back to 7.3, it was just that one patch note that was the change to the porcupine family, and that was it. And I don't know if any of you guys expecting more or felt like hunters needed more than that. I mean, I'm not really know that we needed that, to be honest with you, but...
Dude, we need more pet slots. I can't tame anything.
I'm with you with that.
Yeah, they kind of...
That's great that they add everything, but they forget that we need more space for that.
Yeah, they hinted at there being like a future solution for that instead of just adding more slots, because that's just a band-aid.
Right?
Yeah, they need to adopt the skin system like they do with gear. It's really simple.
Yeah, that's what I imagine it'd be like another collection thing.
And I think that'd be fine at this point. Obviously, there would be people out there that would try and get, one of everything, but I don't see what the harm in that, right? What's the difference between having 50 pets versus 100 at this point? There's
the essence of our class. I could see if it was a secondary thing like toys or something like that, but the essence of a hunter class is having pets, so they should dedicate time to fixing that, just like everything else.
Well, that is the case before, but it's not anymore because you've got the lone wolf spec and survival and stuff like that, where the pet is not the big deal anymore. I mean, it is for me, but in general, they're trying to make us have choices. They're really big on that, and I think we just need a little more space, like a zoo or something, or just a portable stable we can drop down and switch in and out of if we have to, but just something. But I think they're just trying to make us have choices, and they don't realize how hard it is to go back and retame some of these pets.
Yeah, every pet I have is rare, so I'm really reluctant to delete any of them at this point.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've got a few that I can get rid of, but they've added so many with this expansion, and every time they add a new zone, like Argus, they keep adding more and more pets, and even though adding slots to the current system is a band-aid, I think I feel like we're bleeding enough that maybe a band-aid would be okay, especially if it's going to take them several months to actually fix the problem and put in a better system for taming and storing these pets.
Well, have any of us said anything on the forums about it or on Twitter? Talking to them as opposed to talking to ourselves?
Oh yeah, the devs get a lot of tweets about that. I've done it, a lot of people have done it, and that's when Muffinus replied. He said, there needs to be a solution. Maybe we can do a band-aid for now, but maybe not. He didn't promise anything, so I wouldn't expect anything until the next expansion, to be honest.
Yeah, you may be right, and of course I have no idea when that could happen, although I guess this would be the year, right? I mean, this is typically the year where if they're going to plan another expansion, where they would actually do the announcement. I think this is so, I mean, if they were to do it at BlizzCon, this would be sort of an expansion announcement year for BlizzCon, but I don't know if that's what they'll do.
I don't think they'd do it this soon, because when they would put it out, the last raid would still be quite live, and as soon as they start talking about the next expansion, people start paying less attention to the current stuff that's going on, and they don't want to have us focusing on the next expansion for a year like we have been for the past couple expansions. So I don't think they're going to talk about a new expansion, not yet.
I think they're going to announce it at BlizzCon for sure. And I think that the next raid will come out probably a week after BlizzCon. So you don't want to
Sure.
release it before BlizzCon, because then they can't take care of all the hot fixes and stuff.
Not to mention all the people at BlizzCon
Yeah.
that want nothing more than to be home after spending so much money to get to BlizzCon.
Plus the fact they revealed that new key art for BlizzCon, it's like got Jaina on it. And what does Jaina have to do with anything in this expansion? So it's got to be something new coming for Warcraft.
Well, maybe we'll go to Kulturas and start taming some dolphins and squid or something like that. We don't have a lot of undersea pets.
We need some aquatic pets like those eels that we've seen.
Sharks.
They would be kind of cool to have. Yeah, and we, that's right. We could sharks would work, right? We've seen the whole Sharknado series of films. I can kind of see them being out of the water for a brief period of time.
Maybe we could tame the whale shark. That would be pretty impressive.
Speaking of pets, did you guys tame those new cats that you have to do that special thing for?
No, I have not, and I know
Nope.
was that there was one, right, that people hadn't figured out, and I guess the question is, have they figured it out now, and what is the trick to that?
I heard that
Yeah.
there's a certain kind of meat from an animal that doesn't seem to have a lot of meat on it. But you're supposed to feed it to the cat, and I guess that kind of makes it easier or something like that.
Yeah, all the Panthera on Argus, the only way to tame them is to kill Talbooks until you get a special drop of this Talbook meat, and then throw the meat at the Panthera, and then you can tame it. But it's really weird. You have to be out of combat for it to work. So you have to trap it, like feign death, and then throw the food from feign death, and then tame immediately. And if your timing is off at all, it just doesn't work, and you lose the
Oh
food.
wow.
And it honestly it took me over 100 Talbot kills to get the first one.
Yeah, I was going to say, how rare is the food? I imagine that the meat is probably not, a pretty stable drop.
Yeah, it's 1% probably, somewhere around there. But yeah, they're pretty neat looking pets.
Do they have any good abilities or anything?
No, they're just standard cats. And there's the rodents, the Marsouls or whatever they're called.
Yeah, those look very cool. I haven't gotten any of those new pets yet, but I do like the way the way those look. I mean, I think they did a nice job with that.
Yeah, I only tamed one of them actually, because stable space. I didn't know what else to delete to make room for it.
Yeah, I mean, even the manta rays look nice too. I mean, I'd like to get one of those at some point as well.
Yeah, I replaced one of my core hounds with one of those because it gives the same bloodlust.
Does the same buff, yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, on Argus, I've just been killing rares over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And watching cinematics. Very, very nice cinematics. That have nothing to do with hunting. I did, just to slightly go off topic for a second, I was watching Twitch over the weekend, and I noticed that the Arena Championships were on. And while I was going past there, I happened to see that there was a hunter, and he was doing quite well. And then StarCraft was on, so I switched over to StarCraft. But, hunters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know going into the last episode, Synth, there was the one event that was going on, and you had wanted to talk about it again once it was over. I think you had made mention that there was...
Yeah, the Mythic Dungeon Invitational.
The Mythic Dungeon Invitational. I thought didn't you say that the hunters had pretty decent representation in that, from what you could tell?
Well, okay, so hunters have freezing trap. Hold on, is my audio okay? I've been testing mine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you sound fine.
All right. Anyway, the freezing trap is one of the only CCs that works on almost everything. That and sap, and so rogues and hunters are actually extremely popular in in the Mythic Dungeon Invitational right now, because you have to CC on some of those polls, and it's actually, we're going into the actual competition this month. I was just talking to a couple of friends about it. This coming weekend, the 16th and the 17th, is going to be the Eastern regions with the event starting at midnight Eastern time, going until 8 a.m. Eastern time. So those are going to be a little bit harder to watch on the 16th and 17th. But then next weekend, the one after that, 23rd, 24th, is going to be Europe and North America, and that's actually going to be starting at 9 a.m. Sorry, like 9 a.m., 8 a.m., 8 a.m. Eastern time for the European, and then for NA it's going to be noon Eastern for on the 24th. And those are going to be the regions. Once the regionals are over, then you get the top 8 and the finals on the 30th and the 1st. And I believe they're going to actually do the last couple at BlizzCon, but I'm not sure on that particular detail.
Yeah, I was going to wonder if they're going to ultimately bring this to BlizzCon. I think they would, because, I mean, the esports are just like such a huge part of BlizzCon now. I mean, I think that makes up like the majority of activities that go on there, that people go to watch now.
Well, Blizzard released the schedule, and it says that the finals are on October 1st. So if there is one at BlizzCon, maybe it's a separate event.
Something different, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I was hoping for that to end at BlizzCon, but you know what? Even if it doesn't, it's still a lot of fun. Maybe they'll do some sort of show match at BlizzCon.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll do something. Yeah.
Because mythics are something that are finally like relatable. You know, the arena stuff. Yeah, it's everyone can do arena, but to play at that level, it's pretty difficult to do. Whereas the mythic dungeons, you know, you can actually just pug these mythic pluses and get pretty good results. But yeah, it should be interesting. And hunters definitely have a good showing, like I said, due to the number of CCs. The stun arrow also does a really good job of keeping things that jump around in place. And also, you know, we have our tar trap. We have a pretty good kit, all in all. But a surprising representation from marksmanship. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Well, no, I hadn't noticed. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I've ever since 7.1, I guess, or for a while. I mean, like I said, when the expansion dropped, I was full on marksmanship, and then things changed, and I've just pretty much stuck with beast mastery since that time, and really haven't looked back too much at marksmanship. I don't know about the rest of you, like Foxy, like you tend to raid a lot. I mean, what are you raiding as these days?
I rated MM, and that's purely for the single target damage that it gives. I mean, BM is still very good if you have good legendaries and decent gear, but just sustaining that high single target to compete with the other classes, I just feel like MM feels better for me, even though I don't even have the boots, but it still feels better for me. Like, I'm still trying to get those boots. Like, I don't think it's going to happen.
So the legendary boots, so they're that good for marksmanship?
Oh, and I can see somebody at the same item level, like, rip me apart just because they have those boots on, then I have to, I'm pretty sure they're worth having.
Yeah.
Is that Olana's feather? Whatever.
It's the feather snowshoes. Yeah.
The feathered snowshoes. Yeah.
It doesn't help that I actually haven't really raided for the last 2 weeks, so haven't done many activities that will give me a legendary. But hopefully, maybe this week or next week, I'll get one. I got the cape, and I just cried the very last legendary I got. I was like, I was like, you know what? I give up.
You can do the invasions on Argus for extra chances at legendaries too. They can drop from those.
Really? I didn't know that. That's good to know.
Seems to
There's
be a
different
pretty good
content
chance
to
too.
do. That's the point. It gets so monotonous just doing raids over and over and over again. And, it's nice to have new content that will give you a chance at a legendary.
Yeah, I mean, they've done a pretty good job. I mean, these raids haven't lingered too long. I mean, they've been able to get from one to the other in a reasonable amount of time. I mean, we've got I don't know, like you said, the next one will probably be what, like you said, Bendak, you were speculating maybe like right after BlizzCon, which would make sense.
Yeah.
So that's not too far away. And then, they really haven't announced anything beyond 7.3 at this point, so we're not really sure what to expect after that. If there will actually be another raid, or if this one will be the final one for this expansion.
They sort of said there'd be possibly more story content, but I don't think there's gonna be any more raids.
Yeah, I mean, this will be the challenge they've had, right? Is they've kind of released this last raid, or we've seen it where you get to the end of the expansion and then we have this huge gap between the next one, and they said they want to try and avoid that. So I'll be really interested to see if they're able to do that and see what the gap is between the end of Legion and whatever they have planned next. I mean, they've done a pretty good job of getting these 7.1, 7.2 those patches released on a pretty good cadence, but I don't think that was their issue so much, even within Warlords or Draenor. Like, they were able to get some of those patches out the door fairly quick order. It's just once they were done with that particular expansion, getting to the next one is where they seem to have the big delay, and I don't know if they've found a way to overcome that or not.
Hopefully. If I had to guess, like, assuming they stick to their plan, they'll announce it at BlizzCon and then it'll come out in summertime.
Yeah, and that would probably be okay, because that wouldn't be, like I said, that would still be a slightly longer amount of time for that final raid. I mean, it would be out, longer than any of the others in this expansion, but I guess it wouldn't be too long relative to what they've done in the past. And if they're able to introduce some additional content along the way, as you said, maybe some of that story content, that would be better than, not releasing anything at all, which is what's happened in the past. But I mean, I think the next expansion, I mean, who knows what they're going to have to do a lot of changes, though, which sort of has me concerned, right? I mean, I think this artifact weapon, which has been kind of neat, but I just feel like it is this expansion only. This is a Legion only thing, and they're going to have to dump that, or they will dump that.
I know. I'm just curious what their reason's going to be. Like the lore reason between, like, okay, I'm just going to throw away this crazy artifact weapon so I can equip my like rifle of the monkey to
Yeah.
Yeah, it's we put so much work into these things. I'm pretty sure that's not going to make a lot of people very happy.
No, I don't. Go ahead. Yeah.
I'm assuming that it's going to be like we're fighting, I don't know, suddenly Sargeras shows up or some other like monstrously evil thing, and we have to use all the power of our weapons that we've put away for so long to save our lives and put it, stun it or something so we could get away, and which is fine, except that then next week when you go back in to do that raid again, yeah, so now you've used up your weapon, so to speak, but story-wise, raids don't make much sense, so I suppose it's not a big deal. But
I think it might be a relief to some people too, also because of the grind that they put into it. So I think it's gonna go both ways. It may be a split. I wouldn't be surprised for it to be like an even split between how people feel about getting rid of them.
Well, another thing is that we've got these horrendous amounts of item inflation that have been going on, and they could just kind of worked the whole get a new weapon into that, where yes, you had this amazing thing and now it's gone, and now you are using, this weak weapon that you picked up off of a dead boar in a forest, or kelp forest, wherever, and that's how they explain, the whole item deflation thing that they're gonna have to do, because the numbers are just kind of ridiculous right now. Again.
Yeah, I mean, it would just seem weird to go back to getting your weapon as just a regular old loot drop off a raid boss or something. But I suppose that's what we'll go back to. But even beyond that, I mean, it's more than just a weapon, right? I mean, so much of our class abilities and things are tied to it right now that you begin to wonder, how are they going to handle that, and what are they going to change? And so, for example, Beast Mastery has Hattie. Are we going to? I imagine we won't be having her or him as a pet, but will we still have be able to have two pets out at once in some capacity, like we do now, as well as what about some of the other abilities and things that we're getting from those artifact traits? What happens to all of those as well? Do they just go away, and then they I just feel like they almost need to overhaul the classes again and overhaul the hunter class again, because they want to get rid of these artifact weapons.
Yeah, I think they're going to need some kind of replacement for the artifact weapons, like just some other thing so it's like an alternative progression aside from gear, like something that you would get whatever the new artifact power is called, and you put that into doing something else to get new abilities and stuff. Because it just seems like I know the AP grind was really bad at the beginning, but I think they improved it a lot. Like, it's not like ever since, I don't know, I guess 7.2, I just don't really care about AP that much. It's just kind of a thing. Like, I get it. I'm like, well, at least I got something for what I did, like AP or whatever, instead of nothing,
Right. I kind of agree with that. I mean, it's just weird seeing the amounts that we're getting. It's just, in the billions here. I mean, it seems.
Yeah, the numbers are getting kind of weird.
Yeah, they're way out of whack.
I got a token the other day for 500, well, basically $500 million. I'm like, wow, that's too many zeros. I did have a friend of mine who's a hunter, and they are just starting Legion, if you can imagine that. And the catch-up mechanics, seeing it literally through her eyes, is just amazing, because I've spent this entire expansion, like a year now, working really super hard to get all this artifact knowledge, all this research, and then the power building up, and she's, in 3 weeks, she's got everything that I've got and more.
Right, she's caught up and surpassed you, and says, "Yeah, we have someone who just came back to our guild, and similar thing. She didn't. She was there in the beginning, and then just did the first raid, but didn't do Night Hold, or I wasn't around for that. But now has come back, and in fairly short order has almost caught up to the rest of us in terms of gear and power and whatnot. So yeah, it seems to be fine at this point if you've got an alt or even a fresh 110 of some fashion that you want to get caught up. It's doable, at this point.
Yeah, once you hit 110, which isn't that hard with the new heirlooms, it's super easy. It's log in and just do some stuff, and just a treasure lying around with 40 artifact power. Well, it's 40, 42, 43 now. That filled out her entire artifact just like that. So it's just, it's so much better than Tanan Jungle ever was, honestly.
Yeah, I hear your frustration.
Yeah, the only blockage that she's having is the reputation, because she can't fly. So I'm taxing her around, but the order hall, we can boost up our followers now, and you can get reputation tokens from that. and then you just save them all till Dark Moon Fair rolls around. So other than 7.3 and playing Taxi, you guys been doing anything else? I'm not sure what else there is to do other than like the Trail of Stale a couple weeks ago.
I got first place in that.
In what?
Was it Hunter Transmog or?
It was
Did you
like,
really?
yeah, it was for the
Oh,
theme was
how
like-
is that even possible? I'm like the queen of transmog. But I
You
didn't
didn't get
enter,
it?
so that's my fault.
Oh. Well, you can enter as many times as you want. So, like, I did a lot before I got first place in one of them.
That's cool.
You get like a shirt, and it gives you like a permanent buff, kind of like the Precious's ribbon.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I wear that
Yeah.
shirt. I still have that shirt and wear that thing pretty much constantly at this point. That Precious ribbon, I like that. It's like one of my favorite items.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, I mean, I've just been really logging in, a few days a week, and then just kind of working our way through the raid. That's all we've kind of been doing, just kind of getting through the tomb of Sargeras and making our progress. That's more or less it at this point. Not doing too much else beyond that.
So you've been raiding lately? That's
Yeah,
cool.
and again, it's like, but it's a very casual guild, so we're still slogging our way through heroic at this point. So we're not doing mythic. So, like I said, it's slow going, but it's fun. I do enjoy it, but it's slow going.
I took a little break from mythic progression myself due to the new job, and some added responsibilities that they've given me. But I mean, my guild is still pushing it along in mythics. I think they're like 7 of 9 right now, or 6 of 9. I can't remember. But I took a little break, so I haven't raided in progression for, I guess, 2.5 weeks now. But I mean, my hunter is like the gear that I have. I can still walk in there and still, be on par with the rest of the group. You know why? Because of my lovely 890 Arcano crystal with the socket. And, with the socket. That's why. Because of that trinket. The trinket's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been trying to get one of those with the new relinquished vendor, but
Oh, you know what happened? I was doing turning in those shards for the nether shards. I was like doing the key gamble or whatever. And I'm like, is this screen print wrong? Did I just get 50,000 nether shards? I was like, oh my god, I was like, is something wrong with this? I had asked the people in guild, and they're like, no, you can get very lucky and get that. I was like, oh. So I bought 10 trinkets, and one of them procced the 890 Arcano crystal with a socket.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
well, yeah, the new relinquished gear starts at 910. Actually,
Oh, really? Wow.
Hey, you procced like an 890 Arcana Crest, and you're complaining about not getting the boots.
Dude, come, give me a break. I
think you
need it.
burned all your luck on that one thing.
I know,
Probably why you
I
don't have the
did.
boots yet.
I killed it. That's all I'm gonna get this expansion.
Yeah, I kind of liked having all these legendaries. I wonder if they'll continue that moving forward again, or what they'll do. I mean, in reality, I mean the artifact weapon was kind of like the new legendary in terms of a big quest and series of hoops that you had to jump through to get it. It was more similar to the legendary quest that we had. I wonder what they'll do, if they'll revert back to a single legendary item and going through a legendary quest, or if they'll have all these legendaries like they did this time around.
Well, I think that they got really good feedback from everybody on the class focus, the class quest, as opposed to, one cloak for everybody kind of a thing. And it's a lot more work for them, but everybody really, really liked it. It's, everybody can say something they do or don't like, but nobody has anything bad to say about the questing for the class stuff at all. So hopefully that will continue. Except that the guy that wrote a lot of those quests, he's now on the secret new project, whatever that may be. So there's that, but they've got other really talented writers too, so I hope that they do continue it, because I very much enjoyed the story emphasis on Legion so far.
Yeah, they have done a pretty good job of kind of telling the story this time around and carrying it through throughout the entire expansion. I think people enjoyed that. I mean, I certainly like that kind of stuff, and I do like the class-oriented things that they do. I mean, and I think people always like that. But as you say, it's a lot of classes, a lot of work on their part, but they seem to have the ability to do it.
Mm.
And so I'm just reading something from Synth, who is pointing out that, he was talking about the WHU stuff. Yeah, so we could talk about that again real quick, because it may have gotten cut off at the beginning of the show.
Okay.
That's probably a good idea. So we're just to back up a little bit there, and just to let the listeners know that we are, you are planning once again the annual Hunter meetup for the Warcraft Hunters Union at BlizzCon this year, and you've got the beautiful T-shirts ready to go that people can get, and so we talked about the design. It's really nice. It's got the wolf hawk on there with the WHU logo, and just looks great. And you had Zoe do it again this year, so thematically, at least artistically, it's nice. They all look similar from year to year, which I think is great.
And I really like the fact that she has volunteered her time once again to do it. And for people that are listening that are into doing graphics and stuff like that, just so you know, every year I do send out, I do feel for an artist. It's not that I give it to her because I like her, the way that she, her ability, but I give it to her because she consistently volunteers. But if there's somebody else that's interested in providing art for the Warcraft Hunters Union shirts every year at BlizzCon, that is an open thing. And as a person, or if you are selected to do the drawing, that individual does get a free shirt. And mind you, that shirt usually costs about $50 or $60 because I customize it to however you want. And you get recognition all over social media. Any of the WoW social media that I usually post on, I always make sure to give credit to the artist for that, because I feel like it's a labor of love. You have to think of something new. She have to think of something new every year, and she just continuously never ceases to amaze me. Like, she's amazing.
Yeah, as I say, she does knock it out of the park, by the way, so it's not that there's anything wrong with the work that she does by having, when you say that, sort of having this open competition, if you will, for people to do it. So her quality is not the issue here. So, you got to bring your A game if you're going to get this job.
So, exactly. Or, if I don't find anybody that can hold the weight that she does, I'll just continue to ask her every single year, and I'm okay with that. But the shirt store is open. I have loaded it with different items to buy, and they're fully customizable to however you want it. All we ask is that you keep the logo on it.
Is there even an option to not have the logo on there?
I think so. I think you can remove that graphic if you wanted to. But
that's the whole point of getting that's the whole point of ordering it, is to get the graphic. And it's not just shirts. Like, there's all sorts of. I'm just looking at the site now. By the way, you can get mouse pads and little sport pack, little backpack, sweatshirts, T-shirts. Anything you would want to wear or have. So it's not just a simple T-shirt that you can get this on. You can get it on a variety of items, which is really cool.
Yeah, I thought that was, they added more items to that vendor that I use now, so it makes it a little more accessible for people that just want something like a piece of memorabilia. So the mouse pad would be good for that, or,
Did you guys hear about the BlizzCon swag bag that was partially announced yesterday, today, sometime this week?
I heard about it, but I didn't look into it, so I don't know.
they're giving out another bag this year, and it's, from what I understand, it's like got Velcro stuff so that people can put patches all over it. So I don't know how possible that might be for the design, but if it could be
If
done
they
small.
decided that way, that means they plan on selling patches. So bring your extra money for BlizzCon.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, it'd be kind of neat to have, like, a hunter patch, too. I don't know how expensive those are, but it's something to think about.
That is a good idea.
But it is nice stuff. So it is very cool. So it's a very clean design this year too. It's nice.
And the party was going to be at the Hilton again, I think.
I think I'm going to go ahead with the Hilton lobby again this year. It just allows people to not have to depend on a destination, but to allow a flow of people coming in and out, because a lot of people didn't have time to go to Calm Before the Storm because of other activities, or they wanted to talk with their friends and stuff that were just hanging out in the Hilton. And I really enjoyed that open concept that we had, because when we did that, we had different WoW developers come over. It was just really awesome that way that we did it.
Yeah, it's certainly a lot of fun. Like I said, I'll unfortunately have to be there in spirit this year. But hopefully there'll be another one the following year, and then I'll be able to make amends then. But
yeah, I can't believe we sold out on us for a real vacation.
it wasn't my idea, but this is
I know.
the wife wanted to do, so I had to pass up on it this year. Although it does look like that vacation is going to get canceled, so maybe I have to go scramble around and see if I can snag a BlizzCon ticket from somewhere. But then, I don't know. We'll see. It's a little bit get on the verge of short notice here as far as accommodations and everything else. So that's the hard part.
Yeah, that I understand.
In fact, you almost don't really need a ticket to BlizzCon per se. I think I talked about to people that last year. It's like you can just kind of show up.
But you do remember they're opening up that new wing in the convention center, so I wonder how they're going to fill that out.
That's true. I did hear about that. But with the virtual ticket and everything, you can actually, experience the entire event. And then, if you were to just travel out there, you could go to the hotels and the parties and things like that. And then, so it is possible to actually go to BlizzCon and enjoy BlizzCon without actually having a ticket to BlizzCon.
Yeah, last year I think I spent about 3 hours total inside actual convention center.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about it.
But it's fun. It's fun. So that's good. Well, it should be a good time this year. Hopefully you'll get a good, strong turnout like you have in years past. I don't know if Delirium's going. Are you going this time, Synth?
I am, but hold on. I think I'm muted.
No, I can hear you.
We can hear you.
I heard you.
Well, I think I'm muted on the stream, so whatever I did isn't coming through on the stream, so you'll probably...
Okay. Yeah, so Synth says you can't hear him on the stream, but he said yes, he is going to BlizzCon this year.
Awesome.
Good deal. So I don't know. I mean, it's like I said, this has been a very hunter-light patch, other than the new pets, which we talked about. I don't know. I mean, how does the damage seem right now for hunters? I mean, are we simply keeping pace here? Like I said, I'm not in a hardcore guild, so I'm doing fine with the group I'm running with. It's damage it certainly isn't an issue, but I mean, Foxy on the mythic level. I mean, are you struggling to compete with the other classes, or it feels pretty good? You think they're in a good place right now?
My guild's pretty high geared. I would say the average item level is between 935 and 940. The only problem I experience is, when I need those boosts to help kick me in high gear, I don't have them. So that does hurt us a little bit in the long run. But I think I'm the only hunter in my guild that does not have those boots. So, but when I look at the logs for the others, it seems like they're just on par for where they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, tomorrow, Beastmaster's getting a 6% buff.
Wow, really?
Just across the board, or let's see if I can...
Basically to all the abilities and talents. So not like pet auto attacks and stuff like that, but most things. And also the Netherlight Crucible unlocks tomorrow, and that's part of the reason why they're giving Beast Mastery that buff. Is because when the Crucible unlocks, everyone gets 15 eye levels on their weapon, and Beast Mastery scaling with weapon damage is crap. So in order to compensate, they're giving us a buff.
Oh, wow. Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, the Crucible, they also tuned the numbers on those traits today. So tomorrow with the Crucible, it should be a fairly significant damage increase, especially like across an entire raid. Like if you're stuck on a boss, there's a good chance you'd kill it now.
I say that's good, especially I say for people that are like our group. That probably is going to help our group a lot, right? I mean that's a good, because we haven't quite hit a wall where we're completely stuck, but we're it's been a little bit of a slog working with we've gotten Sisters down, but we're not, I wouldn't call it on farm at all, and then Mistress is the other one that we're right on the edge, and this is probably enough to push those two over the top, I would think. Then we can just focus on the ladder bosses and then get through this before the next raid comes out.
Yeah, so have you guys looked at the Crucible stuff at all?
I have not. I have not had a chance to do that.
Yeah, so everyone's going to get 15 eye levels tomorrow or Wednesday for EU. And then based on how high your total artifact level is, you unlock new traits for your relics. So the first one unlocks at level 60, and then every 3 levels from there up to 75. So each relic has like a tier 2 trait and a tier 3 trait. The tier 2 ones are these light and shadow powers. You pick one or the other. And the tier 3 traits is a choice between 3 weapon traits. So all of your relics in the end will have basically 3 traits on them.
I kind of like that idea, is because, the item squish thing, I think about that a lot. And so this is it's still an upgrade, but it's not adding eye levels exactly to your power. It's like a side upgrade kind of thing. And that's probably a better way to go, I think.
Well, the tier 1 trait, which everyone gets just for unlocking it, that adds eye level +5 to every relic. And then all these other powers are pretty big damage increases, so actually in terms of number squish, it's going to make the numbers a lot bigger.
Of course.
Because, for example, like the traits are like your spells have a chance to deal shadow damage and heal you, or you gain 500 mastery and 500 avoidance, stuff like that.
Well, so much for that idea then.
And it's all random too. There's like, it picks from a pool, and then you just pick the ones you want most that it chose. It's kind of complicated. Like, I don't know. I think a lot of people are going to be kind of confused when they see this, especially if they haven't been keeping up on it.
Well, we'll see, and that comes out tomorrow. Then I guess is what you're.
Yeah, and especially for Beastmaster, since traits make such a big difference, whereas most other specs in the game could just be like, oh, it's higher eye level, like I guess I can use it. But for us, it could be like with the Crucible, especially, that you could have a relic that's 15 eye levels lower, like 15 eye levels on the relic, not the actual relic.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So you could have like actually, let me put it this way: you could have an eye level 955 relic that is worse than like a 900 relic you have. because the 900 relic rolled better traits. So, I don't know. I think a lot of people have no idea what's coming, but it's it's a lot of math to do.
Well, it'll be nice to see that, and hopefully it'll be a noticeable difference when we get back into the raids this week. And then of course, I don't know how the other classes, how that compares, but are the other classes getting similar buffs, or they perhaps I guess they probably don't need it because of the way their weapons work, I guess.
Survival got 5%. Marksmanship didn't get anything. A few other specs got stuff like Windwalker monks and stuff like that.
So it sounds like Foxy will just have to continue to wait on those boots then.
Yeah, I've given up, kind of. I'm kind of giving up on them, to be honest.
So you must have every other legendary, right?
Oh, not all of the MM legendaries. No, I still need the bracers too.
Oh, the worst ones. So you have the worst
well,
and the best.
Those. The gloves. I'm sorry, the gloves and the boots.
So I don't know what else we got this week, but we are coming up on an hour here, so maybe we'll call it for today, and then see if we can't get back on a kind of a regular schedule from here on out. But it was good to get back and see everybody here. Hopefully, Delirium will get his technical issues worked out. A few bumps in the road here, but it'd be good to get him back and hear from him as well. So. All right, well, why don't we close it out then and say, on that note, you have been listening to episode 263 of the Hunting Party Podcast. I'm Darkbrew from thebrewhall.com and the Brew Hall on Twitter.
I'm Bendak from Eyes of the Beast and Bendak WoW on Twitter.
And I'm Foxy from Warcraft Fighters Union.
All right, well, check us out on iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, or add our RSS feed to your reader. And, of course, we'll have all these links available in our show notes. And if you have a question or topic you would like us to abstain from on the show, email us at huntingpartypodcast@gmail.com or send us a tweet at huntingpartypod. And stay thirsty, my friends, and remember to drink your dark brew lager.
Keep your eyes on the beast.
Anything for Foxy in here? I thought we did. We should Warcraft Hunters Union.
If we did, I can't even remember.
I don't know. Well,
it's been too long.
I know. Well, don't forget to pay your dues. That was the WHU tagline. So. We haven't heard that for a long time.
Dark Lady, watch over you.
Yeah. Good deal.
It was fun though.
So yeah, guys, don't delete any of your relics. Just don't until you know what's going on with the Crucible. Just keep them all.
Anything that we've got saved up then, or just
and future ones too that you get a drop from, just keep it because you never know what's going to be on it. Because you have to put it in the Crucible to see what random traits it picked.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
A life stealer, that's just the cost of being an awesome sauce. A dues payer, a boss slayer. I rock out with my lockout now. I'm a hunter. I'm a hunter. Viper to cheetah to dragon hawk. No time to waste, cause I can jump shot. BM, MM, and SV. I can rock out any tree. Never worried about my threat, cause I've got FD and misdirect. Catching loose mobs in my traps. I never miss, cause I am hit capped. Cause I'm the hunter, not the marked. I'm the fighter, not the spark. I'm the kiter, not the kite. Now let's begin with Illidan, Osirian, and Gil'jadan, Magdamar, Asgalor, Gruul, Cthulhu, and Razorgore, Onyxia to Ragnaros. Which one have we killed the most? Kel'Thuzad to Malygos. We even killed a Kama's ghost. Feels like we're getting close, all that running as a ghost. Anubarak, Yogg-Saron, Thorian, Sartharian, Magtheridon, Sapuron, Lucifer to Sulfuron, Archon, Amalon, Koromon, and Algalon. The faction champions, the death toll rolling on and on. Garvale, Executus, Chromagus, and Charexus. Murmur will kill this. We won't stop till we kill our boss. I'm a hunter.